Yeah. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about social media. This is not going to be like a big training on like this is how to do these things on social media because that's a bigger conversation. But the conversation that I wanted to have tonight was what does it look like to you? Do you want a social media business? And if you want a social media business, what does that look like to you? um, because that's really important to just for you to kind of figure out what a social media business looks like to you. Because I think to some people, a social media business looks like you make a post and you get a sale, and it's not quite like that. I think sometimes it can happen like that, and that's kind of awesome, but not always. Okay, so I want to ask you that question: what does that look like to you? We went to Jubilee this year, and some amazing people shared on stage about their success on TikTok, right? And when we went to Chicago, we had the good fortune to be able to sit at the table with them. And they really kind of reiterated that same conversation, the same training that they did on that stage. But since then, I have actually been doing some work on TikTok. And so that conversation made more sense this time, right? And also, not only did it make more sense this time, but also some of the questions that I had for them when they were on stage, I was able to ask at I was able to ask, right? Because some of the things they were saying was just they were saying a different word, and I wasn't quite understanding. And so that was kind of nice to be able to have that conversation. But one of the things they kind of talked about on stage was they were throwing these big numbers out there. Like they were making a lot of money selling on TikTok. And then in side conversations, I'm hearing about other people that are making a lot of money selling on Facebook in VIP groups. And I'm like, whoa, I mean, like we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars a week. And I'm just like, wow, that is a lot, right? And then I'm hearing about other people that are making a lot of money doing bingos and raffle sheets and doing things like that. And it's a lot of money that they're managing to make, leveraging social media and doing these type of activities in their Tupperware businesses. And I'm like, okay, so my question is, in a perfect world, what does that look like to you? What does a social media business look like to you? Does it look like a VIP group? Does it look like live selling? Does it look like live selling in a VIP group? Does it look like TikTok? Does it look like raffle sheets, bingo groups? During COVID, I had a bingo group, right? I had a pretty successful bingo group. But you know what happened to my bingo group? I happened to my bingo group, right? I got bored with it, and I was not consistently adding new people to my bingo group. And that's what happened to it. That's the reason why it didn't grow. And so from personal experience, right? I was not consistent enough with it. And that's what it takes in social media is to be consistent. And that's, we hear it over and over again. You got to be consistent. You got to be consistent. You got to be consistent. And then, but actually my personal journey in social media and is now that I have managed to get consistent, it's 100% true. It's 100% true. But the thing is like, what does consistency look like for you is different than what it might look like for me. For me, it looks like going live 3 to 5 times a week. And for me, going live 3 to 5 times a week is still going live around my family's schedule. It's not going live the same time every day. It's not going live the same 3 to 5 times a week. It's different days of the week. So just because I say that doesn't mean it's like a 9 to 5, right? Because sometimes I'm going live in the morning, sometimes I'm going live in the evening, sometimes I'm going live on a Monday, and sometimes I'm going live on a Wednesday, and sometimes I'm going live on the weekends, and sometimes I'm going live it just literally depends on my schedule. I've one in college, I've one that's still at home. Those two are not really much of a factor right now, most of the time. Most of the time. But then again, sometimes they throw a monkey wrench into things. But James is doing two sports. Eric is working overtime, right? So he's not in the picture. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, like he is not helpful. Okay, so I'm doing all the things, right? So I'm managing everything with the house. I'm getting James to all these sports things, and he's got two sports on the weekend every weekend, right? So I'm having to do all of those things as well of everything else, all the things, right? So plus I'm having to squeeze in the live stuff and all of our meetings and all of our things and anything else I might want to do. I mean, whatever that means, right? And but you got to figure out what that means to you. What does consistency look like to you? You know, and so, figuring that part out. So something, and also the other part is picking your platform. What platform do you want to be consistent on? Do you want to be on TikTok? Do you want to be on Facebook? Do you want to be on Instagram? Right? Or do you want to explore other platforms? Like doing things, when we were talking to them on Tuesday, sorry, there's something in my eye now. Um, we were talking to them on Tuesday. She's like saying she uses WhatsApp and she uses Telegram. And I'm like, I don't even know where to go with that. We'll get there, right? And so I'm like, that's really cool, that she's able to do those things. But, and again, like I said, when what happened to my VIP group, I happened to my VIP group. I happened to my VIP group. So I know Bonnie's listening to me right now because I can see her camera on, right? So Bonnie, you don't have to you turn on your mic if you don't want to, but I'm going to ask you a question. And I know what the answer is to this, right? So Bonnie parties in home, right? So Bonnie does parties in home. So Bonnie, if you were starting a business, how successful would your business be if you did your first 3 parties and those were the only 3 parties that you did for your business? To get your business, you just went back to those same 3 parties.
That would not work well at
That would
all.
not work. And that's what people do in their VIP groups. They're like, hey, everybody, I just started in Tupperware and I did this VIP group. Does everybody want to join my VIP group? And everybody's like, yes, I love Tupperware. I'd love to be in your VIP group. And everybody joins their VIP group and they're like, oh, this is great. And then for the next couple of weeks, they're like, hey, I got this VIP group. Does everybody want to join? Oh, yeah, sure. I'll join. I'll join. They get a few more people trickle in. And then they're like, hey, this sales on, this sales on. They get some sales. This sales on, this sales on. They get some sales. And then they just keep going back to the same group of people and keep going back to the same group of people. And then occasionally they might say, hey, I got this VIP group, but they've already said that to those people. So not really many people are joining. And then they keep going back to the same people in the VIP group. And then they're like, I'm not getting any sales, Ellen. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I'm like, have you added new people to your VIP group? Well, I'm trying. Well, who are you talking to? Well, I'm posting it on my page. Do you have any new friends? Are you adding new friends on your Facebook or wherever it is you are, right? And so, listen, I am just as guilty. So if you're sitting there like Ellen is calling me out, listen, hey, I listen. I don't judge. Okay. But seriously, I did the same thing and I do the same thing sometimes. And then I have to go, Ellen, wake up. You need to get in front of new people. Right. But it's the same thing if I try to do the same thing at a home party, right? If I was going to the same home parties over and over again, my sales are not going to happen. Okay. It's the same thing with our VIP group. So we got to get new people, right? So what are some ways you can get new people? When you're doing your reels, right? When you're doing your reels and doing things like that, there was somebody that shared, and I can't remember her name because my head is exploding. I think her name it wasn't Karen. It started with a K, I think. Kate, I don't know. I can't remember. He was on a director call, but she shared and that she talked about in her reels, she would tag her VIP group or she would say, come to my VIP group, or she would promote her VIP group every time she posted a reel. And so that's how she would get people over to her VIP group. I know Tabitha has done that in the past when she was really working on growing her VIP group and just getting people over to that VIP group. So every time you're making a post, that's what is there, right? Even more so sometimes than promoting the sale. You're promoting getting people over to that VIP group, right? And so it's that important because that's where you're going to be talking to people and doing things like that. So it's really important to be able to do that. And so yeah, but pick your platform, figure out where it is that you want to start. And once you kind of get that started, then you can start branching out and trying other things and doing things like that. But if you're trying to do it all at once, you're going to get overwhelmed and you're going to stop, right? And so just pick one of them and start trying to work through that. But make sure you know the rules of that platform so you don't get shut down, so you don't get banned, so you don't get kicked out, so you don't lose some of your capabilities to be able to promote your business, right? So make sure you know the rules of that platform. TikTok's got a lot of rules, okay? A lot of rules, all right? So you not have to make sure that you know what those rules are. And if you are going to break them, you know what the consequences of breaking them are, and you know if there is a way to work around them. Okay. So yeah, so it's really important to kind of know those sort of things. So one of the things that they shared at Jubilee, and then they also reiterated again when we were sitting there on Tuesday, was they talked about their schedule. They're like, we don't always just sell. We do recipes, and they gave like an actual schedule that they give their consultants, and this is their schedule. This does not have to be your schedule. You make your plan that works for you. Because if this plan doesn't work for you and you're trying to work it, that's what's going to lead to frustration, right? And then it's not your business, right? You're frustrated and you're just like, I'm trying to do all these things. Listen, this is literally has come out of my mouth in the last week. I'm trying to do all these things and I'm overwhelmed and I'm frustrated and I don't know what to do. Okay, so you're not alone. Okay. This is when we reboot and we look at our schedule again and we rework it. Okay. So don't panic if you're starting to feel that way. That's not when you throw in the towel, right? That's not, don't give up so quickly. Okay. That's when you just reboot and you go, okay, this isn't working because I'm freaking out. Like, this is when you go, okay, this isn't working because I'm overwhelmed. Be like, okay, I need to change something, right? So don't get stressed when you're stressed. We just need to regroup. Okay. But their schedule is, they say, Mondays they do a recipe, so they plan on doing some sort of a recipe on Mondays. On Tuesdays they do a product demo, and they said their product demo isn't necessarily like a big hardcore product demo. Sometimes, I think that I can't remember what they said, but when they said it, this is what popped in my brain. And so I don't remember what they said because something else popped in my brain. And so they said something, but what popped in my brain was how to marry a bowl, right? How to marry a seal to a bowl. That's a product demo. That is a useful product demo, right? So like a product demo doesn't have to be all the ins and outs of a pressure cooker. A product demo can simply be how to wash your water bottle properly, right? I mean, it can be something as simple as that, right? So it doesn't have to be something super elaborate. Or even like if you watch the cooking show, I was talking about the measuring spoons, right? It can be just showing the measuring spoons and saying how they click together and how you can sit them on the counter and they're waiting for you and your finger slides underneath them so you can pick it up and put it into the bowl. That's a product demo, guys. It doesn't have to be something super elaborate. Wednesday, they talk about the opportunity, and talking about the opportunity as being like, you know what? Since I started Tupperware, at the end of the month, I've consistently had an extra $100 more than I had before. you know, that could be you talking about the opportunity. Like I have $100 more every month because each month I've managed to make $100. That's cool, right? So that could be you talking about the opportunity. Or, since I started in Tupperware, I get on these meetings on Thursday night, and when I'm getting off the meetings, I'm smiling because Pam is kind of crazy. Whatever, right? Whatever it is, whatever. That could be talking about the opportunity. It doesn't have to be that deep, guys. Don't overwhelm yourself and don't talk yourself out of it because you don't have some big grandiose story of being in the business for a gazillion years like Loretta. Okay. So on Thursday, they did special offers because for a long time we always kicked special offers on Thursday. So that may or may not change. I don't know what's happening. Nobody knows what's happening. So that can be flexible. Don't worry about that. Okay. It's not that deep. And then on Fridays, they do live selling. So Fridays could be live selling. It could be you could do raffle sheets. Robin, I don't see everybody's faces, but if Robin's on here, she puts together raffle sheets for us consistently, and she does such a beautiful job with that. And she does raffle sheets consistently. And so I know we've got some training stuff on there. And if you're on here, Robin, maybe we can pull you in to do a training on a raffle sheet sometime soon. But yeah, so that you could do something like that if you don't have products to do live selling or anything. And maybe you could do another cooking demo until you do stuff like that. So lots of different things that you could sub in for the live selling until you get that confidence. Okay, guys. So just because one of these things seems a little too much for you and you're like, oh, it's okay. We can sub something in. Okay. Or maybe you start working on your reels or something and you make sure you're posting reels on that day or whatever. So yeah, I mean, so that's why you need to figure out what social media looks like to you. And maybe social media looks like to you right now, like, no, and that's okay. That's totally okay. That's totally okay, right? Social media looks like to you getting on the champion team page and checking to see what Pam posted today. And that's okay. That's totally okay. At some point, you might be a little bit more adventurous. And when you are, we're totally here for it. So that's cool. But yeah, so we're gonna be just kind of giving you some extra, ideas and stuff, and we'll keep building on this and giving you different resources and ideas and stuff. So yeah, so that's just kind of a little bit of just to kind of get you guys thinking about what does it look like to you and what platform might you want to choose, and we can go from there. So